Hello everyone and welcome back to another video. I as always am Grestar and this is another reaction to Death Battle, Genos vs War Machine. So of course make sure to click on the link in the description below to go to the official release first, like, comment, subscribe, all of that good stuff, then come back here and we'll watch it together. So yes, Genos from One Punch Man versus War Machine from Marvel, specifically, you know, the Iron Man stuff. Yeah, so from what I know, well, I don't know, like, I'm leaning toward Genos right now. Like, I don't know Genos at all, and I really don't know One Punch Man that well. But from what I know, like, of One Punch Man, the character himself, and from what I know of Tatsumaki from, like, the, you know, a previous Death Battle, it seems like the One Punch Man universe is very powerful. And that's not to say that the Marvel universe is not also very powerful, but, you know, it really depends on, like, who you're following within the Marvel universe, as far as, like, what they encounter. So I don't know if War Machine has gone up against, like, super tough stuff, but then again, I guess I don't know if Genos has either. So, really can't say. Like, I know that War Machine's thing, he has a suit like Iron Man that just is super durable and strong and capable of a lot of, like, long-range artillery and that kind of stuff, right? Like, that's all I really can say for him. I'm sure I'm gonna learn a ton more, but that's just all I can say right now. And Genos, no bloody idea. I have no idea if he's, like, physical based, if he's psychic based, if he has any. I have no idea what he's about, so not much to say here. We really just, with that, let's get to watching. Here we go, Genos versus War Machine.
The most awesome heroes aren't born, they're made. Like when I got my shotgun leg.
Well, at least some heroes know what to do with their new abilities.
Like Genos, the cyborg sidekick of One Punch Man.
Oh,
And War
cyborg.
Machine, best friend and understudy to Marvel's Iron Man.
He's Wiz and I'm Boomstick.
And it's our job to analyze their weapons, armor, and skills to find out who would win a death battle.
Yeah, Death Battle. Let's do it.
You ever think about how if there weren't so many villains blowing up fictional places, we wouldn't have so many awesome heroes?
Genos was
I do
happy
think about that.
15-year-old living a quiet life until his family and town were obliterated by a deranged cyborg.
Oh.
Thankfully, he was saved by a scientist, and Genos had one request. He wanted to be a powerful cyborg too.
Oh.
Weird. I mean, I guess he really liked how the other cyborg violently murdered people.
No, this was a means for revenge.
Yes.
Genos set out on a walkabout of justice.
Oh, Genos? Was
Though
that?
It wouldn't be long.
Sorry,
until he
Genos,
found
not
his
Genos.
match in the one and only Mosquito Girl.
This bug's making me pitch a tent, and not to keep her out, if you know what I mean.
Yes.
Luckily, another hero
do know
stepped
what you
in
mean.
to save the day.
He's
Look
naked.
out, it's the One Punch Man himself.
Understandably impressed, Genos asked that Saitama take him on as a student.
Caped Egghead here wasn't too excited about having a sidekick, but they eventually became buds.
The two were quite the
Good
dynamic
for them.
duo. Genos in particular rose to fame thanks to his adoring fans.
Yeah, he's pretty popular with the ladies, obviously. No such luck for Baldy McPuncherson, though.
To improve his hero work, Genos received numerous upgrades and repairs from Dr. Kusano,
Oh.
the same man who turned him into a cyborg in the first place.
Mostly because he can't get out of a fight without something getting blasted off. He's got super durable armor over his entire body, and he can pop his limbs on and off like a friggin' lizard tail.
Genos' limbs
Interesting.
and body are incredibly strong, able to easily defend against powerful attacks.
And the metal that makes up his body has been upgraded to protect against stuff like acid or heat, on top of them boosting his speed and overall power.
He has multiple niche upgrades as well, such as an adhesive he can spray from his heels to immobilize foes.
Okay.
Talk about a sticky situation.
Yes,
Well, he only needs to use the goop if he hasn't already noticed his opponents with his hyper sensors or weird cyborg eyes, which can zoom and enhance the most distant of evildoers. Dun dun.
His eye can see in infrared or track image signatures.
And it can shoot a blast of blinding light. Solar flare!
But there's far more weaponry across his body. Hidden blades, arm missiles, and electric shocks just to name a few. With his rocket boosters, he moves faster than almost anyone. And he can even fly. Well, sort of.
He didn't even mention that his arms have freaking cannons in them.
These are his incinerators, powerful blasters of fire of which he can control the size of the resulting explosions.
And
Makes
slapping both
sense.
arms together makes the more powerful spiral incinerator
Oh.
blast. Then there's his ultra helix incinerator. If only I had two shotgun legs, I could put both of them together for an ultra leg blast.
Sure.
How would you even aim?
Oh, I mean, it's not that hard. All you do is first you lift one leg like this.
Yep, and then the other
lift
one.
The other one. Oh, God, I fell on my keys.
Oh no.
Anyway, the incredible energy of his Ultra Helix incinerator comes directly from a power core housed in his chest, which powers most of his tech.
But even with so much firepower, his physical attacks are awesome too. Like the time he jet drive arrow kicked this Elder Centipede asshole so hard in the teeth.
His incinerators are powerful enough to eradicate monsters, buildings, and even mountains.
By
Okay.
using the smallest mountain in the world as a reference, the size of the damage and the fact that he vaporized that thing makes it a feat worth 66 kilotons of TNT.
That sounds
Not
like a
only is
lot.
Genos strong, he's incredibly fast, moving faster than the human eye can see. He targeted and struck this city-destroying meteor rocketing through the sky.
Wow.
And those big boys are no joke.
What big boys?
Meteors! Those things killed the dinosaurs.
Well, the fact that he was able to actually hit the big boy, not just target it, means he must have been moving 200 times faster than sound.
Genos is badass enough that he can survive getting hit with his own incinerator cannons, on top of managing to withstand getting crushed by mosquitoes. Like, a shit ton of them.
By
Oh,
measuring the size
I
of
don't like
swarm,
that.
we deduced he's being crushed by 65 trillion mosquitoes.
That's a lot of
Combined
mosquitoes.
weight of 358,000 tons.
Wow.
Please God, let me go anyway but that.
While a skyscraper
Would not be a fan.
bugs is impressive, Genos has also withstood a runaway train slamming into him.
Luckily, it didn't make a dent on his power core. Without that, he wouldn't be able to do pretty much anything.
Right, the power core is unfortunately the core of his weakness as well.
I was
Right.
just about to do that one. Anyway, one time, Genos tried to use that core to self-destruct just to kill that annoying mosquito chick. Now, that might sound crazy to you, but have you ever had to deal with 65 trillion mosquitoes?
I
all
have
at
not.
once?
No,
I
not
do
even.
it.
Regardless,
Definitely not all
Genos
at
has shown
once. Not
time
even
and
in my
time
lifetime.
again that he's a fearsome hero to contend with.
Sure, he hasn't found his family's killer yet, but he has found a new family with Saitama and friends. And he'll
Yay.
keep getting stronger and stronger.
I will eliminate you. Stay right where you are.
Okay, so that was Genos.
For some
Now for
young
War
boys
Machine.
like James Rhodes, joining the military seems the best way of making something of themselves.
And Rhodey fit right in with his knack for machinery. He got top marks in the army and became a pilot.
Eventually becoming an expert in aviation engineering and military combat. Then, on one fateful mission, his helicopter was shot down.
Oh no.
Didn't look good. But then Iron Man showed up.
Turns
Oh,
out
yay.
Rhodes wasn't the only one in trouble. Tony Stark was stranded without enough power for his suit and asked for his help. The two began an epic adventure that turned them into close friends. Rhodes stepped into the shoes of a superhero and became a man his younger self would be proud of.
And being Tony's best bud had some perks.
Oh,
like
it
taking
would,
over
absolutely.
As Iron Man sometimes. Who wouldn't jump into that suit at the first chance?
Next time, baby.
And eventually, Tony offered Rhodes a superpowered suit of his very own.
That's when regular old James Rhodes became War Machine.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, it's like Iron Man but with more guns.
Rhodes had
Yes.
spent years trying to find his place in the world. As War Machine, he found a way to truly make something of himself.
He already had tons of combat experience from the army and a bit of PTSD, but you know, you win
Yeah,
some,
yeah,
lose
of
some.
course, yeah.
He can do way more anyway. He is a multi-talented badass.
Tony has provided Rhodes with multiple War Machine suits throughout the years, each improving upon the one before it.
Mm-hmm.
And these babies are a beautiful piece of work. Just look at all those weapons.
The suit is a specialized variation of the typical Iron Man armor, focusing more on firepower than tactics and maneuverability.
Right.
Clearly. Its alloy is composed of titanium and vibranium,
Hey, like Captain America.
Vibranium, very powerful.
which means it's both extremely durable and light enough to fly at incredible speeds. Very important given the computers, life support systems, and other devices housed within the unit.
That's
Yes.
not even talking about what Rhodey fights with. His fine-tuned rides got repulsor rays and a unibeam in the chest. And did I mention guns, and more
You
guns?
mentioned guns,
Get
for
a
sure.
Look at that. Machine guns, Gatling guns, laser guns, flamethrowers, the works.
The suit can generate electromagnetic pulses, particle beams, and even drain energy from opponents.
Ah, this baby's so sweet, I felt inspired to upgrade some of my own arsenal, if you know what I mean.
You shotgun
I
leg?
think I want to.
I got a new gun!
Oh.
It was white when I bought it, but I accidentally washed it with my hat. So obviously, I'm pretty hyped about the guns, but the armor has a lot of really cool other things too.
Yeah.
His most up-to-date suit includes incredible chameleon systems that allow him to not only become invisible, but intangible, bypassing scanners
Really?
and phasing through walls.
Intangible.
I could really use that next time you try to stab me with a trident.
It was one time, and in the most dire of circumstances, War Machine has a self-destruct function he can call upon to make sure his tech doesn't fall into the wrong hands.
I mean, this work of art can scan for things like weird light and electromagnetic signals. But even if Rhodey doesn't see it coming, he can handle the craziest of attacks.
Not only has he been thrown through a mountain with enough force to cause an earthquake,
He survived getting nuked. You see the size of that crater? Compared to War Machine himself, it looks like the explosion was over 2.5 megatons of TNT.
and the suit is fast enough to fly into orbit and out into space.
Take that, Elon Musk! No, but please send me one of your flamethrowers. Sorry, not a flamethrower. I see you.
Right,
Given
right.
how it only takes War Machine about 10 seconds to exit the planet's orbit, and measuring the distance he's traveled, this puts him at flying speeds over Mach 620.
And while he may be speedy, Rhodey's also strong enough for his hits to be the first and last. He's lifted cars, thrown tanks, and tossed a dude so hard he destroyed a spaceship.
Not to mention the fact that Tony created the War Machine suit to be on par with his own Iron Man suits.
And remember, Rhodey even acted as Iron Man for a while, so plenty of what Tony can do, he can do too.
Right.
Including the time Tony blew up a massive rock the size of Manhattan.
Of course, everything he's experienced
I
as
don't
a
know how big
superhero
Manhattan
in the
is.
Army hasn't exactly been the best for his mental state, which has unfortunately left him with pretty drastic cases of PTSD and survivor's guilt, even sometimes feeling he's not worthy of the high-tech armor he wears.
But he'll push past it to rescue his friends as well as the rest of mankind. Time and time again, Rhodey's proven that Tony isn't the only armored Avenger. Also, did I mention the guns?
You did. Okay, so that was a lot of stuff for both Genos and War Machine.
All right, the combatants are set, and we've run the data through all possibilities.
But first, we'll tell you about him so you don't end up looking like One Punch Man.
Thinking
This
now.
episode of
It's time for a death battle! And pause. Okay, so in my course of thinking about this, I've actually shifted away from Genos, and I'm leaning toward War Machine. So, first, why I'm concerned about that prediction. I think that Genos might be faster, based upon like that meteorite feat compared to War Machine like flying into orbit. I don't remember what Genos' number was, but that's the feat that I'm concerned with. And then two, I think that Genos might have more destructive capabilities than War Machine does. However, I think that with the nuke that it showed that War Machine survived, I think that was more powerful than the strongest feat that they showed Genos was capable of. Which means that Genos' strongest, War Machine might be able to withstand. And that's pretty good, obviously. Another big thing, or I mean like a couple things, like War Machine also has the capability of an electromagnetic pulse, which I would imagine would do some things to Genos, you know, like shut some of his stuff down, given that he's a cyborg. He has like that phasing capability of becoming intangible, which could really mess up Genos' plans. And on top of that, War Machine's armor is made at least partially out of vibranium. So even like all of Genos' big hits, you know, physical or otherwise, a lot of that would be just absorbed by the vibranium. Like vibranium is incredibly strong and it like really protects the wearer. So like I don't even think that within the machine or within the suit that Rhodey would be like really affected by a lot of that stuff. Like the suit could survive the nuke and then he's fine as long as he's inside of it, you know? They both have tracking capabilities, so it's not like that's in Genos' favor. Yeah, just all in all, even though I think that War Machine might be like weaker as far as attacks are concerned, I think that he has what it takes to kill Genos, whereas Genos doesn't have what it takes to kill War Machine. Like Rhodey, absolutely. But with the suit, I don't think so. Even though I think he's more powerful and faster, I think the War Machine just has other, you know, he has other advantages where they count. I mean, he has the experience too, right? Like having, you know, been through the army and everything, whereas Genos is just a teenager, right? A teenager who got cyborg attachments. And granted, yeah, he's been fighting alongside One Punch Man as his sidekick, but I don't think that was for too long. I can't imagine that was for too long. Whereas, you know, on top of the army stuff, War Machine has then fought alongside Iron Man and, you know, who knows how many other heroes against all of these other villains and aliens and whatnot too. So they've both been through a lot, but I think that War Machine just has more going for him. So I'm surprised by this, but I'm switching from Genos to War Machine. War Machine's going to win this one, and play. Oh, also Genos has the core weakness. I don't think I mentioned that, but the core weakness definitely could come into play too.
Hey there! Destruction of property is a serious offense, young man.
One more of you, huh? Come for vengeance? I'll turn you to scrap!
Who were you fighting before? Oh, he didn't like that. Man, this is a fully 2D animated one? I don't know what all that meant, but hey.
Hey, cheese! Need a hand?
That looks bad way too early.
I already have one!
Ow! Okay, he's got it back.
I don't fall apart that easy.
He did his two-hand thing! Come on, Rhodey! Ow! He's got his ice. How did he know to do the scanning immediately?
I guess he ran off. That suit was ugly anyway.
Ugly! This is my Sunday best!
Oh, so the... I still thought even when he was invisible, I thought that he would be able to... Genos would be able to see him with the tracking. You can survive it! Oh, that works too. Oh. Even the adhesive is still there? That is powerful adhesive, jeez.
Come on! Die already!
Oh, I didn't even think about phasing through the adhesive. Is that where his core is? No, I thought that was higher. What if War Machine just phased right there?
Sorry it had to be this way.
Don't talk to me.
You got it.
Well, looks like Genos is G no more.
Genos was certainly a serious threat.
Okay,
in
so
this
they-
battle. However, Rhodes held
They
a
say
solid
Genos or
advantage
Genos.
in many different aspects.
He's had years of training in the military, even before becoming a superhero, which means he's been doing this for way longer.
Stratagems aside, let's compare their power output. At his best, Genos had kicked the Elder Centipede backward.
Which was freaking huge.
According to an interview with a One Punch Man manga illustrator, Elder Centipede's body measures 15 meters wide. With that and scaling to its surroundings, we determined its full size to be over 700 meters long.
Okay.
The force to knock aside something this large would have to be over 15 megatons of TNT.
But War Machine's got the edge over that. Remember the giant rock that was the
Yes.
size of Manhattan?
Taking the square footage of Manhattan and the height of the rock, we found that
Which
the
I
energy
acknowledged
it would
I
take
did
to
not
shatter
know.
A rock of this size comes out to over 280 teratons of TNT.
Oh.
Way more than Genos knocking around the big bug. War Machine's orbit-breaking flying speed proves he's a lot quicker too.
Oh, so
But
that
even
was
if he
faster,
could get
okay.
it in, Genos had no way to counter Rhodey's energy-draining tech and Ghost Chameleon mode.
I forgot about the energy
Genos was
drain,
certainly a
too.
powerful contender, but War Machine's overwhelming firepower and high-tech abilities were just too much for the teenage cyborg.
Yeah, War
Makes sense to
Machine
me.
was on the road to victory.
Ha!
The winner is War Machine.
Claps for War Machine. Cool.
Thank you for watching this episode of Death
You're
Battle.
welcome.
Battle music for yourself. You can find it linked in the description below. And you can check out a link to the Death Battle card and dice game.
Oh. Next time on Death Battle. Oh, it's... Wait, I recognize her. Oh, as Death from Akame ga Kill. I started watching Akame ga Kill. I mean, like, I watched a fair few episodes, more than 3, which is usually my cutoff to determine whether or not I'll keep going with something, as I've talked about in a previous video at least. But it didn't... No, I kind of found it too ridiculous. I don't think that anime has good pacing at all. It's weird. Anyway, yeah, Gray versus as Death next time. But first, let's talk about this death battle. So, Genos or Genos, because apparently it's either one, versus War Machine. Glad I was right. For a lot of the reasons that I talked about, and I had misunderstood some things too. Like I thought that Genos was faster and more powerful. I just thought that War Machine would be able to withstand it and could still deliver a finishing blow, even if he wasn't as powerful as Genos himself. So even with those misunderstandings, I was on War Machine's side. But apparently I was wrong, and War Machine was better at both of those things too. So, alright, I will take it. So that was cool. I'm glad they cleared that up in the conclusion. I always enjoy them clearing things up in the conclusion, unless they're like, remember that time where we completely misled and tricked you? Those moments are dumb. Where it's like, yeah, we said this feat. Well, actually, it didn't really happen that way. I don't like those moments. The animation itself, like the fight itself, was really interesting because it was like a full 2D animated thing. So I know the pixel art is like 2D, you know, but I'm trying to draw that distinction here. There's like the pixel animation, which I have been calling 2D because they haven't had 2D animation like this before. Like, they've shown snippets for sure, but not like an entire fight. Point was, it was cool that they did that. Was it like the most aesthetically pleasing for me? Like, no, not necessarily. Just given what that style was and like the kind of serious nature of death battles. But frankly, if you're talking about that, like pixel animation isn't necessarily the most serious looking either, or the coolest looking. But definitely kudos to the animator because they did a great job with it. So it was really cool to see them like taking that, first the animator being able to do this, that must have been cool, right? For them, I hope it was. I hope they really enjoyed working on this project. And then for the Death Battle team for actually doing something like this, having like a fully 2D animated Death Battle like this, which like I know they kind of did that with like Deadpool versus Mask, and I always want to say The Mask. Is that weird? But that one, again, like it wasn't a serious death battle. It was very cartoony, and so like cartoon animation just seemed to fit a lot better for it. So yeah, but I liked this one. It made sense story-wise. I mean, to an extent. Obviously, I don't know what Genos was like fighting when Rhodey went over to check out what was going on. But everything from there seemed to escalate appropriately as far as like, hey, you shouldn't be doing that. Oh, there's more of you? Guess I'll kill you. Nah, I'll kill you. Kind of how it went. And so the fights there were cool. And I mean, it was one fight, but they're different like kind of segments, I really liked Genos just pumping out that power while Rhodey's just sitting there in the adhesive. I found it amusing because at the end, it seemed like one of those things where Rhodey was kind of like, you finished? And then he steps out, like he just uses his like phasing capabilities to get out of the adhesive. I just found that amusing. So that was fun. Yeah, alright. Let me know what you all thought about this death battle in the comments below, whether you liked it, whether you disliked it, what you thought about this or that, etc., so on and so forth. And next time we will be watching Gray versus Esdeath, yeah. With that, we're calling it here, so have a good one, everybody.